Alright, good day everyone. Today we're back with a capacitor restuffing video. We're going to refill these World War II command set capacitors. We have a few different ones. We have the big ones and the small ones. This is a single stage one with a 5 microfarad capacitor in it. Then this guy here is a 0.05 times 3. It has 3 in that. So the whole process, what we're going to do here, I'm going to go through how I'm refilling these with new components. So what we've done so far, we've had a few go through and cut the top off. So we'll show you here. We got the did a little slice around the top. Now these were supposedly full of oil. There's been no oil in any of these since I've been cutting them off. So that is the known issue, or that the oil does tend to leak out. So what we're using is this my mini lathe, and we have a capacitor in the chuck, and we have a little jig made by one of my buddies, Jeff of V1ZAC. Made this little adapter to hold a Dremel tool. And essentially what you do is you turn the Dremel on, get the capacitor spinning, and just gently cut the top off. The big key is not to get too carried away with pressure here, so you don't squash the cans. The cans are only made out of brass. So we'll take a little pause here, and I'll get one going, and we'll just kind of demonstrate the process. So first thing you want to do is just make sure you're lined up. You want to get the cutting wheel just underneath the lid of the capacitor there. So we're just going to turn this baby on. Not exactly straight. Okay, so we've got cut down there until we've hit this little, you can see that little, that little line right there. So once you see that line, she's ready to come off. So yeah, so it's ready to go. So we'll take that one out and put another one in, and then we'll when we're all done cutting the tops off, we'll show you how we're going to refill them. Okay, so here we are in at the workbench here now with our freshly cut open capacitors. So they're pretty much all ready to come apart. So the next thing, so I'm wearing gloves because there might be PCBs in these. We're not sure. There's not much. If there was oil in them, there's none left now. So I'd rather be safe than sorry, and so we'll just put some gloves on for this little part, and we're going to try to get these guys pieces. So when you, see if we can zoom in here a little bit. Yeah, so when you are lifting them open, you'll notice there's some wires inside. You can just sort of see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep those wires attached to the cover, because I need to pull on those later. So I'm going to snip them off as close as I can to the what's left of the capacitors in there. And that will come off there. And then we need to pop this guy out. And then you'll see this waxy mess inside there. And there's the 3 caps encapsulated in, I believe it's actually beeswax. So there's 2 ways you can go with this. You can take a heat gun and melt them a little, and they'll just kind of fall out, and that's probably what I'm going to do here. So I'll use my little hot air station. my neatly organized workbench. Oops. I'm not going to go crazy with the heat. That's got to be enough. Yeah, that took a while. Anyway, now you can prop out the guts of these things. They'll just all sort of slide out. And I don't know if there's a whole lot holding that in there, honestly. One of them just seemed to kind of come out. This is what the old capacitors look like, what's left of them in here. And they're just little foil wrapped papers. So they got a little divider in there. And so now, I'll just scoop the rest of this shit out of here. And that will all come out as a big lump. There we are. So now we got a good empty can. Okay, I took a little pause there and got some proper tools. So what we're going to do here now, heat up these posts and give one of these guys a little twist and pull those little bits of wire out of there. And they come out pretty easy. Then take these guys, give them a little vacuum out. You're probably going to have to work at that for a little bit because those little wires were crimped in there. So we have to, what I have done is used a little drill bit like this to kind of drill out the end so the leads will fit through of the new components. So we're going to continue on with that. I'll drill those out and we'll come back. Okay, so we're ready to go here now. So I'm going to take the capacitors. I'll do this. There we go. So we'll get everything all jammed in. There's lots of space inside the can for these, so they'll definitely fit just fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get them all to go through the hole in the back. And you might have to make this a little bigger because it's it only had one wire before and now it's got three. So we'll just get a little spin with our fingers there. That makes it a little bit larger. And once you have that large enough, you should be able to fit all the leads through that hole. And that will help hold the two sides together when you solder it all back together. So I'm going to fiddle with this and we'll be back. Okay, so after you've spent half an hour fiddling around with capacitors trying to get them inside the can there, so we can see we get the wires sticking out of the back. We have the leads sticking out of the top there, coming out of the original points. Now, one thing I want to make mention here is the screws in the back they make sure you mark where that was. So when you put the capacitor back in the radio, the leads will still reach. So it's important. So what we're going to do here now is essentially I'm going to take the wires and kind of lay them over, and that will help hold the two sides together. So you can solder them. So there's pretty much it there. So now we're going to clamp this baby in my little helping hands. Make sure everything's lined up. All you want to do is just kind of run a little bead solder around to hold the two halves together, and then solder up everything else and you're good to go. It comes fairly neat. Unless you really look for it, you won't really notice that it has been taken apart and put back together again. So I'll come back when I'm done and show you the finished results. Okay, so we're all done. Here's the finished product. This is what it looks like. And all together again. So we got a few more to do. While we're here, we'll explain what a command set is. This here is a command set. It's a World War II radio that was used in bombers and other fighter aircraft. It supposed to be in Iraq with a bunch of other radios, but anyway, then we have this one, which is a needs a little work, and then we have this baby over here, which is an all original set with the little control unit. It has a little Bendix cord goes between these two, and then we have the dynamotor in the back. That radio does work. I have used it a few times and works quite nice. So, but the problem with these old radios is eventually the capacitors start to fail, and that's why we're going through the motions to restuff them. So here is an example of what it looks like underneath. You can see all the caps, and it's not easy to replace that with modern components unless you use the mounting that the original capacitors provide. So that's the way to go. Anyway, with that ends our little video here this evening. Hopefully you guys, those who went through the whole thing, enjoyed it. Talk to you later.